Hey, I'm Alex. I'm from Qualcomm. So, real question, not rhetorical, and I apologize for not having asked this before, Grant, but why Samsung and MediaTek? Why not Qualcomm?
Oh, that's a really good question. Qualcomm has some challenges associated with it. Mainly is surrounding the tooling in supporting the hexagon architecture. The hexagon architecture is proprietary to Qualcomm, and the tooling is it's fallen behind in terms of on parity with ARM and MIPS. But it's nothing to say that it couldn't be supported in the future.
Can you talk a bit more about the emulation and challenges in the emulation? I assume you are extending QEMU. How do you interfaces the peripherals? How do you make sure that they don't go haywire? How do you make sure that this is all connected correctly?
Right. So it was an iterative process. It required a lot of reverse engineering. I mean, there's no getting around the fact that there was manual analysis required to do this. But the benefit of having done that is it was a one-time manual effort. This is so far being fairly stable, even across newer versions. But yeah, the challenges range from having to develop peripherals without having any documentation in a completely, I wouldn't say black box, but a fashion that, a data sheet would have been nice, I have to say. Emulation was challenging, especially for MIPS, because there was no support for the specific architecture in QEMU, which made it challenging. We had to port back TCG lifters. Additionally, Ghidra didn't have support, so we needed to write a sleigh, P-code sleigh for that. So every step along the way, there was a challenge that we need to overcome. Yeah, that would have been my follow-up question. Why ARM and MIPS? Like, it seems like extra steps. Why would manufacturers use these, or? No, why did the implementation of MIPS, right? Because it is a huge amount of effort. Well, we wanted to get insight into the MediaTek baseband. There was no other way to, this. You could have done Qualcomm. No comment. Cool. Other questions?
Hi, Roland Yap. So just a follow-up on Matthias' question. What about the protocols part? Is there a lot of magic there? I mean, is it even documented? I have no idea. Oh, so the cellular protocols? Yeah. No, those are actually very well documented, and they're standardized. But what's the cool part about doing baseband and cellular security research is that the standards always say one thing, and the implementation, it's a whole other thing. And so really what we're doing here is we're finding implementation flaws. The standards, they define the message formats, but they don't necessarily say that you shouldn't use a memcopy with a source length that's too high for the destination buffer. These things come in the implementation, which is done by individual manufacturers like Samsung, MediaTek. So to double check that they did a good job, tools like this are good for the community, so we can kind of start to peel back some of the layers to ensure that what we run on our devices every day is secure and free from vulnerabilities. Thank you.
Zephyr Yeh from UC Irvine. I really like the technique you put the analysis code into the binary using the ELF. I'm wondering if it is possible to put a sanitizer code as well, so you can enable sanitizer.
Yeah, actually, it's a really good question, and this is possible. Previous work, BaseSafe, has actually done this, where they added sanitizers in QEMU itself to do more fine-grained heap sanitization, stack sanitization. So while we didn't do that for this paper, it's something that we would like to do, and I think we'd potentially find even more vulnerabilities.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.